Hey people on Earth, you're probably wondering who I am, or why you're seeing this, or why I'm in a black background like one of those DVD screensavers. And to those questions, I'll answer this. I'm buskin'. I don't really need employment, but I work under the horrid and corrupt Verdant Society as a recreational researcher and smack talker. The following is a list of criteria they told me to do, so we need to... Oh, also, they told me to post this ahead of time, so you all can learn before you make your way to Talsha. I also live in the end, and no, you don't get another context of what that is. They didn't pay me by the minute, unfortunately. Oh, and also while I study all things on Talsha, my sister Socks does Earth and their culture and shit like that. Anyway, we should
What's up?
talk about the different subspecies of humans that live on this world of Talsha, and for reference, we call them Verican. That's the term we use for them, okay? Subspecies equals Verican. Why do we call them that? Well, taxonomists in our world said, I don't know. It's really just a way to sound fancier than we used to. Oh, but anyway, let's start with something simple. Sock, could you, do a drum roll, please? Ta-da! Oh, can you see it? It's supposed to be a reflection. Fine, it's Homo sapiens. Sapiens.
You know the kind, since you are those things. On Earth, you're kind of bad at everything, except, your brains are big, and even then I classify it as a weakness. And, Talsha, yeah, not much change. You're still kind of the slowest and the weakest, so sorry, not sorry. I don't really know what else to say, and they live everywhere. Sorry for being so generic and boring, 5 out of 10.
Anyway, we should probably get to the Vericans that are technically maybe not related to humans. So let's talk about Dawnlings, or Agrilla sapiens. These guys are sentient clay people by the mineral named Naru. No bones, no organs, just clay and sticks. They can be any size or shape. Humanoid, sure. Orb, why not? Abstract, conceptually unsettling geometry that makes you uncomfortable? Also yes. They also live near a multi, a Verican I'll get to later. Also, the Tiltonists lovingly nicknamed them failed humans, which I get the insult, but you could have tried harder, so like a 6 out of 10 slur, I guess. They also hear words of different languages as if their own, and they also can read thoughts, so that's terrifying, but they also are used for translators. They also have to have reinforced floors and doorways due to their weight being made of clay. What did you just say? No, the question was rhetorical. You are as big as a mountain and you weigh as much as a bison. Nothing about you is not that big. Anyway, the Dawnlings are genuinely kind and have the same moral alignment as drywall, however. And are you crying slur? Now, a disclaimer that will be read by my sister, so I don't have to care. And while she does that, I have to make sure to show the anatomy of us life. Okay, yeah, fuck that.
There is no concrete evidence that they are related to humans, but they are sentient and can have kids with basically any bracken except Darlings. And Soways can use their body parts, so congratulations, Scythes. You are a human in biology's eyes.
Now, with that out of the way, let's look at the name again. Homo sapiens pendus utilis, which, if you know a bit of Latin, means freaking useless feet. I mean, they're not wrong. Also, I'm gonna quote this from the official medical textbook of Siena, which, by the way, is the country run by the fucking scientists. A Verican that is depicted as an intersex humanoid, with a serpentine traits characterized by its scaly integuments, tendril-like lower appendages, a hyper-extendable venomous oral cavity, quadrilateral clawed hands, and a semi-sentient caudal appendage. If you didn't understand that, well, the long and short of it is they're intersex, human snake thing, gaping mouth with venomous teeth, four-fingered claws, counting opposable thumbs, and a semi-sentient tail. Beautiful. They also are the most scared of every Verican, and they stay in little tight-knit communities, and are usually scared and anxious when separated. So I think the Scythe gets a 6 out of 10. It would have gotten a 9 out of 10, but their skittish nature makes me harder to research, and I mean, I was barely able to find this one. Now we can properly talk about species that are definitely known to be related to Homo sapiens in one way or another. So let's start simple. So, over to socks.
I know what you people love. One thing above all else is things the human brain should not comprehend. So, let's talk about our ruins.
You still good with doing this, buddy? Yeah. Alles für die Butter des Endes. Okay then.
Our ruins. Our ruins are basically Barricans who follow Tiltonism, which is a whole other topic of buskins. We'll explain if you pay us. So, who sacrificed chunks of the body or souls to the end? The flesh grows back as a purplish, leathery tissue because apparently it wasn't really edgy enough as normal skin. Oh, it regenerates. It can't be removed ever. They also need to ingest mercury every 12 hours. So.
But what happens if, they don't take mercury for 12 hours or more?
Question. So let's visualize. So our ruined peasant is sitting there, living their life as usual, and suddenly, as the clock strikes 12, and since we are of those things, we must give them an unbiased, solid 9 out of 10. Now on to the multi. These things are just basically human, just shorter, and have every single human culture integrated into their own, I guess. They're also predominantly pacifists, and it makes it a problem since they don't like violence and want to be friends with everyone, which sucks because they're trying to befriend a world that wants to stab them 47 times in the chest. But as much as I want them to speak right now and be joyful and whimsical, I kind of had this one modified so they would act more passive. Ain't that right? Anyway, these peaceful creatures are what the Dawnling defend, since they don't defend themselves. I told you I'd get back. And in return, the multi helped them by being that little, hey, maybe don't do that voice in their head. So they're cool. So, like, he has a 5 out of 10. I don't know. Now, on to Soaways, or as the Totanists call them, Stitchers. Oh, wow, that one actually sounds like a genuine slur. They're just like every other subspecies in a way, since they're made of every other subspecies in a way. They're reanimated corpses. Less like a George Romero kind of zombie, and more like Mary Shelley's sentient Frankenstein. With most being made by the first of them all, being called Sinafu because no one really knows who they were before. Anyway, most are just stitched together cadavers from both human and animal, and are usually known for being good soldiers and workers, but mostly soldiers. Like the ancient Spartans of old, except none of them are throwing babies off cliffs, thankfully. And that whole stitching themselves helps them to be whatever they want to be. Like they can be a human, hybrid, or cyborg, or all of the above. Durillians are the newest one, mainly due to them being made after the 9 Days of Hell incident. They didn't really change much from regular humans. They just became taller, leaner, having sharper features, and 2 fucking arms sticking out of their back. Perfect for awkward hugs, high fives, or stabbing your enemies while also stirring a soup. Their teeth are sharp because apparently enamel is expensive. But why would you want sharper teeth, like to eat you? But it's probably enough to make a dentist cry at this point. While the constant vibe of their stare is, I know you have delicious organs, Drellians tend to be calm, polite, and extremely okay with people as long as you're fine with their culture. So, 5 out of 10. Anyway, if you have any questions you want to ask us, just type in Dear Soccer Buskin and then put your question there in the comments below. Anyway, I'm Buskin and I saw a cool bug today.